morning. I want to welcome everyone to the call. My name is Karen Hill. I'm a double diamond up here in just outside of Toronto, Ontario. It's great to be sharing with you this morning on this Go Diamond call. For the have been with us, you know that we are very skill-based on Thursday mornings. So if you've got some team members who want to learn the skills necessary for building a successful business here at Zeja, this is the call to tune into on Thursday mornings because it's all about skills. And we've been working over the last few weeks on the skill of developing your story. And so we've been going through the basic information. We're going to continue on that this morning. But I first want to draw your attention to a few things that were announced on Tuesday's call. If you didn't get a chance to get in, the lines were extremely busy, and I know some people struggled to get in, but hopefully you had a chance to go into your back office and look at the library there. There is a flyer on the current drum promotion that we've got going on. Exciting opportunity to get people into the business and also have a piece of history in and around the shipping of our moringa. So for those of you that have looked at those drums, that is how the raw product is shipped to the warehouses here in the U.S. And so it's exciting to have one of those. It's certainly a conversation piece to have in your office, and if you've got some alternative healthcare practitioners, a conversation piece for them to have in their offices. But more importantly, it gives us a great chance to bring people in the month of December at a reduced cost. If you look at that closely, for Builder 1, the cost is $500, and you've got $500 worth of TV, which is what we normally see on a Builder 1 kit, but the cost is significantly less for the brand new person coming into the business, and they can put two of those together and have a Builder 2, and so the cost of that is only $1,000 versus the over $1,300 that that normal kit would be going for, and have the opportunity to position themselves with the extra 15%, so that extra 5% as far as team bonuses is concerned. Exciting promotion. And if you're talking to people, you want to be talking not only about the savings that they can obtain through this drum promo, the fact that they'll have a piece of history to display for a long time down the road, but they've got the tax write-off of starting the business in December. And so we've been talking about that the last few weeks, and hopefully you've been out sharing why people from a tax standpoint want to start their business before the end of December instead of waiting till January. You know, they may say, you know, I'm interested in, I'm so busy over the holidays, I'd like to kind of get going with you in January. You need to say, that's great, but we've got a promo on right now where you can save yourself $300 on a Builder 2 system, and you can use that initial purchase as a business write-off against any income that you had in 2013, and then you'll have the product in hand by the end of this year, and when we talk in January, we'll be able to move forward with your business. I understand that you don't want to start anything over the busy holiday season, but let's put in place the tax benefits, let's put in place the savings that we can have ready ourselves to get going the beginning of January. So that's how you want to talk this month in the next few weeks as you're speaking with people. And again, remember that week between Christmas and New Year's is a prime time. You want to be talking to virtually all kinds of new individuals. You want to be following back up with virtually everyone that's been talked to in past. And you want to make sure that you're working with your teams, that they understand the importance of that week. A lot of times people, when they're brand new, feel that they'll be bothering people on the holidays, but the reality is if they don't pick up the phone, they'll find that by the time they get to January, it may be, in fact, too late. So I encourage you to be out there doing that. Next week, I believe, given the fact that we're going to be right in the middle of the Christmas break, I will skip next week's call. So it'll be 2 weeks before we'll be back here on a call. So I just wanted to give you that heads up. So next week, we will not do this call, so we'll skip a week, and I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday season. It's been great working on stories, and I've received a number of them in, and I want to give you an example. Many of you have been listening to the pieces that we need within our product stories, and so you know, if you've been on the last few phone calls, that you need to start with who you are, where you live, then your credentials, if there's any that are appropriate. So I'm a nurse, I'm a personal fitness trainer, I'm a professional hockey player, a marathon runner. Those are all credentials that you may share at the beginning of the story. And then what products did you start on? And very vaguely, the nutritional, the weight management, peak performance, or the skincare, rather than listing all the different products that you may have started on. Focus in on one of those four areas that we have from a product standpoint. And then 2 or 3 benefits that you've seen because you've been on the products, keeping those benefits as general as possible, and the best part to last. And we don't want to make any medical claims. We don't want to be talking about specific diseases, and keep those stories as broad as possible. So I'm going to start this morning with a testimonial that came in to me, and I've done a little bit of a rewrite on it so that you can see the difference between the two. So the testimonial was just about, it said Jim's testimonial after 3 years of allergy shots and only being on Supermix since April 13, he noticed in July that he hasn't had even one allergy pill this year. He owns a tree service and is allergic to birch, maple, oak. Isn't this funny? So we can't talk about specific disease states. So saying that you've got allergies, you've been on medications, you're off of those medications, we can't talk in that manner. But what Jim could say is something as simple as, hi, my name is Jim and I'm from Sudbury, Ontario. I own a tree service business and I've always found it ironic that birch, maple, and oak trees that I work with each day make my eyes water and my nose run. I started on the Supermix and have enjoyed additional energy, particularly during my busy season. But the best part is that I now live in harmony with all those trees instead of my body fighting them every day. So that's a way of repackaging that story without talking about having allergies and medications and coming off of those medications. It's a much better way to share that story. And so hopefully you'll get a feel for it. We're going to do a few more stories. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce to you. I talked about compliance and the fact that you could send your stories into compliance at CEJA and they would take a look at those stories and determine whether there was anything in the stories that wasn't compliant. And so some of you did that over the past week, but I also have asked Jason Allman, who heads up our corporate department in compliance, to be on the phone with me. And we've got a few more stories that we're going to be kind of discussing and rewriting and helping eliminate some of the compliance issues. So Jason, maybe you want to say hello to those people that are on the phone.
Good morning, DJ Nation.
So Jason, I'll get you to just kind of give a little bit of an overview of what compliance, what your job is at compliance, and what you're ultimately trying to help and provide the consultants in the field with.
Sure. So the main goal of compliance is to make sure that the corporate entity, VJ itself, is compliant with all different types of federal, national, and international regulatory agencies. So, for example, in the United States, being as VJ is a United States incorporation, would be the FTC, the FDA. Each country in and of itself has its own regulatory agencies that we need to abide by their rules and guidelines. And the main thing is, as VJ is a dietary supplement company and not a drug company, there are rules that we must follow in regards to curative claims, what we say about the product. We all know that we have amazing products that change lives, and we get really excited about the results that we see. We see those every day. I see them every day. I read about them. I hear about them. I see them posts on social media sites and YouTube videos that people have. And we just need to make sure that when people are expressing those amazing testimonials, that they're doing so in a compliant manner. The reason that we need to do so is if we don't, the FDA, the FTC, these regulatory bodies in the United States and in different countries could say that VEGA products now are no longer a dietary supplement because of these claims, and they put them into the drug category. And once they're in the drug category, there's a whole set of different rules and guidelines. And at that point, they might say that we can no longer market a particular product in that country or a whole body of the nutritionals if we're making those types of claims. So some people don't understand the importance of that. What could happen, essentially, it could change our products into a drug, and those regulatory agencies can say, you can no longer market XYZ product in this country. And obviously that would affect VEGA International, it would affect everyone's businesses, so it's of the utmost importance that us as the compliance department, we're here to educate, we're here to train. Our goal is preventative compliance, helping all of you distributors out there understand the rules, understand how to comply and the importance of those rules, why we have them, not just because we like, monitoring, we like to enforce rules. Obviously, these are from the countries. And that way, you can feel confident in what you're saying. You can feel confident that you're building a legacy company, a business that's going to be around a long time, and VEGA isn't going to be one of those fly-by-night, it's here for a couple years and gone because it was shut down by a government agency. So that the importance of compliance is training, educating, monitoring VEGA corporate, monitoring our distributors as a whole.
Well, so what that boils down to, Jason, I think, is for every one of us to realize that when we are giving our testimonial or when we're sharing the testimonials of others that may be on our teams, it's important that we realize that we have to pick and choose our words appropriately, and that if we don't, the consequences could be significant. I would hate to be the person that gave a testimonial that had us have to eliminate a product because we've made claims that were inappropriate. So I think it's really important for the leaders. We've got all the future diamonds and leaders that are moving up in VEGA on this phone call and listening. So I think it's important for us to understand that the implications of saying something, particularly in a public setting, so at a meeting or on social media, particularly social media. I know, Jason, you and I both see all kinds of things that are on social media that are very questionable, and the fact that people will continue to spread those stories. So if you say it, if you share it, it will literally go out. In fact, you were telling me about a story, Jason, that someone had put on social media, and it had been shared 170 some odd times. A story that was not necessarily compliant had been shared many, 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 many times over. And so it's not just coming out of your mouth, it's being shared by others. And so we have to be very, very careful. So we've got a story, story number one, Jason, that we had sent in, and I'm going to read it, and then I'll have you comment on it a little bit, and then I'll give you a rewrite of that particular story. How's that sound, Jason?
Sounds good.
Okay, so the first story came in from Joyce, and it said, I suffered for years from the side effects of surgery, chemo, and radiation treatment for breast cancer. SmartMix was shared with me 4.5 years ago, but I was very skeptical as it sounded too good to be true. I finally said yes after hearing a cowboy say he gave it to his horses for inflammation in their legs, which was one of my health issues, along with a damaged bladder, no immune system, and numerous other health issues. Within a month of starting SmartMix, my symptoms started disappearing. This week I celebrate 11 years of being cancer-free. I am very healthy and living life unlimited. I thank God daily that someone cared enough to share SmartMix with me. Merry Christmas, Karen. Guess that part was a part of the testimonial. But Jason, maybe you can chat a little bit about that.
Sure. Let me repeat the sentence that we often hear and see on product labels, and that's that our products do not diagnose, mitigate, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So we hear this sentence over and over again, but I think we hear it so much that it's in the back of our minds, but we're not really grasping what it's really saying. The FDA and FTC consider a disease, and whether you're preventing, diagnosing, treating, or curing it, to anything that's not a normal part of the daily life of our health. So if someone's experiencing something that's abnormal, that most individuals do not experience in terms of their health, that's an overarching disease. So if we look at that, let's look at just a couple of the words that were used in that particular testimonial. And I'm just going to pick out some of those words, and if you think that would be normal. So, chemotherapy, radiation treatment, breast cancer, inflammation, damaged bladder, no immune system, symptoms disappearing. Those, if we just pick out those words in and of themselves and say them, I think we could all agree that most individuals are not going to be experiencing that type of a health issue. And so in the FDA and FTC's eyes, those would be considered disease claims or implied that the product helped in those particular areas. So as kind of a rewrite, so you could say that what I kind of just listed as some ideas, and obviously this isn't my personal testimonial, but if it had been, I might have said, instead of that, I suffered for years from the side effects of surgery, chemo, and radiation treatment for breast cancer. I could say the effects from chemo and breast cancer were extremely hard on my body. And so instead of saying the word side effects of surgery, chemo, and radiation, because what that essentially is implying is that you're now going to start talking about how each of products cured or mitigated the side effects of cancer. And so we want to stray away from that, but you can still state that Joyce suffered the effects from the chemotherapy and the breast cancer were extremely hard on her body. And in that sense, you're saying, hey, my body was damaged. I was kind of down. And I wasn't at that 100% that I normally was. And she goes right into things was shared with me 4.5 years ago, but I was very skeptical as it sounded too good to be true. I finally said yes after hearing a cowboy say how it was, or how he gave it to his horses. Now, we don't have any claims that Deja, although it's been used for, Pat Anderson uses on her horses, we can't make any claims that it's going to help. We don't have any tests on its effects on animals. But you could say that the anti-inflammatory, that it was given to the horses based on its anti-inflammatory properties. So instead of making it the horses received the product for the inflammation, implying that it kind of cured them of that, you could say that it was given to them for the anti-inflammatory properties of moringa. So we're not making a claim that it's helping, but because it does have anti-inflammatory properties, he was hopeful giving it to him. Then we can continue along with the mention of the damaged bladder, no immune system, and numerous other health issues. Now, in that one, that can't be rewritten, so it's just we need to delete those health claims or those health issues because there isn't really a rewrite. We want to avoid talking about specific ailments that we were suffering through. But what she can go straight into is within a month of starting Smart Mix, I noticed a great improvement in how I felt, the energy I had, and I had a positive outlook regarding my well-being. So instead of talking about symptoms disappearing, the damaged bladder, no immune system, and numerous other health issues being helped, you can talk in generalities about energy increase, having a positive outlook, noticing an improvement on how she felt. We don't need to specifically say what was cured, what was mitigated, what was, what is now quote-unquote gone, but just talk about general well-being, vitality, and a positive outlook after trying the product. That lets a person know that you had a great, fantastic experience, and they're going to want that same experience themselves.
Absolutely, Jason. Now I'm going to throw in a couple of comments here. One of the things that I learned early on in my career was as soon as we mention the word cancer, most individuals, there is a subconscious mind that goes to shut down. You'll notice that when people are diagnosed with cancer, many of them go into a denial period because that is our subconscious mind. So even though in your rewrite you said that she could talk about being a breast cancer survivor, I would encourage that to be even removed from the testimonial. Even though it's appropriate the way Jason rewrote that, I don't want the mind of all the people that you're talking to going into shutdown. And we can't get past the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what makes decisions. And so if I use a word that shuts the subconscious mind down, it won't listen to the story that Joyce has to share. And she's got a powerful story. So I'm going to give you a rewrite that eliminates that. It also eliminates the area where we did talk about the horses and things like that, because your story is about you. It's not about talking about what's happened to your kids or your husband or anybody else that you know. It's all about what happened for you. So I've completely eliminated those. I'll give you my version of a rewrite. Hi, my name is Joyce, and I'm from Kaiser, West Virginia. I have suffered for years with poor health. About 5 years ago, a friend shared with me the Zija Smart Mix. It sounded too good to be true, but after learning about the anti-inflammatory properties of moringa and hearing various success stories from others, I decided to give Zija a try. Within a month, I started to feel better than I had in years. More energy, less sick days, and I thank God daily that someone cared enough to share the Smart Mix with me. So I've completely eliminated any mention of any of the disease states. I've literally taken the gist of her story and left it in a manner that people can relate to it. There's no subconscious mind shut down. They're seeing the possibilities. Many people are dealing and will see the benefit in the anti-inflammatory properties of moringa, which she did. She's got more energy, less sick days. She's feeling better than she has in years. Those are all things that people want, and it doesn't matter what their issue was. If they've never had breast cancer, they don't care. They're relating to this particular story. So this is a much more broad story, and again, no subconscious mind shut down. So Jason, let's move on to story number 2.
Karen, if I may interject just a moment. I completely agree with what you said. One additional maybe comment that I would state is regarding the sick days. A lot of us, I see a lot of comments about cold and flu season. You mentioned allergies previously. Those all fall underneath the disease type category. And so we even want to stray away from making the implication that because of Zija products, I don't get sick anymore, or because of the Zija products, my friends, I see this comment, my friends at work are all sick, and I'm the only one that isn't sick. Obviously, that would be a preventative claim stating that Zija products prevent us from getting sick. We all know that when we give our body the nutrients that it needs, it has the best chance at being healthy, at being at its peak performance. But we want to stray away from the language that implies that it's an anti-cold, anti-flu, or basically any kind of an anti-sick type of supplement, because that would put it into the drug and prevention claim. You can say that you've been healthy and feel fantastic, but I would even delete that little sentence, haven't been sick this past year, because it might imply, and I know these are very, very small things, and people might say, wow, I feel like there's so many rules that I have to pay attention to. In a sense, it is unfortunate. There are those rules there, but stray away from those using the word cold, flu, or sickness, because they might take it as being an implication of preventing different types of illnesses.
I appreciate that, Jason, because that's one that I would have used. So you can see, Zija Nation, and those that are on the phone, that it is a constant learning, because that's a word that I would have used in past, so I appreciate it. And so it goes to show that even if you think that your story is 100% compliant, that by sending it into corporate, you will know that that story is 100% compliant. So we can make a slight switch there, Jason, and we can put, I had in years, or I have more energy and healthier days than I have in years. So we can absolutely make that switch. Thanks. All right, let's move on to this next one. Story number 2 came into us, and here's how it came into us. I lost 26 pounds in 5.5 weeks. All of my hormone levels came up to normal and lost all pain in my joints and back. We were able to pull my little dude off of all allergy and eczema meds and 3 months on Supermix and Vija oil. My husband used to pop a bottle of ibuprofen a week and Claritin D. He takes nothing now. No pain in his shoulder and no allergy issues anymore. My dad had 2 heart attacks. He started on XM Plus in January with the permission of his cardiologist. In August, his doctor pulled him off all his blood pressure meds. Yay, it works. Oh boy. Not looking so good, is it, Jason?
Well, this one, I'm going to be honest, there was so many non-compliant statements that the rewrite would have just been my own testimonial about Vija products being amazing for health and wellness. Let's look at some of the words that were used there. These are what I want to focus on, because a lot of times the FTC and FDA, they've provided 50 to 100 page documents on the words that we can't use. Nobody's going to memorize those. I don't have every single one of them memorized. And so what I wanted to provide today was basic little points, red flags that help each distributor. So if all of a sudden they see something, they may not know if that word's compliant or not, but it falls under a category. And so these are key words that I want you to think on and say, okay, when in doubt, leave it out. That's the phrase I like to use. So hormone levels. We want to avoid talking about hormone levels, whether they were high, whether they were normal, or whether they were below normal. We don't want to talk about medication, being removed from blood pressure medication. If you're saying the word medication or meds or giving a number of pills that you were taking and then now are taking less or more, we want to avoid any type of talk about medication or pills, because those are drugs. Those are prescribed by your doctor, and we don't want to say that Vija has mitigated that disease by being able to lower your medication. The next word is the word pain. If you're talking about pain, that should be a red flag word, because usually you're going to say pain in, and you're going to list a body part. Body parts are also red flag words. So in this case, it was used in combination. Lost all pain in my joints and back. By saying that, the FTC implies that that is an arthritis claim. Pain in joints is arthritis. Even if we don't say the word arthritis, but pain in joints, it's synonymous, and arthritis is considered a disease. So we want to, if you're going to say the word pain, or you see the word pain, and then a body part in the testimonial, leave it out. That would be a general recommendation. You mentioned this before, having pulled his little dude off of allergy and eczema medication. Allergies, eczema, those are not normal. Those would be considered disease claims. So we don't want to talk about the allergy and eczema. But you can mention him being on Supermix, Vija oil. This little guy, you could say his little dude was experiencing greater health and wellness after being on the Supermix and Vija oil. So you don't need to talk about the specifics, but that he was noticing the help. Obviously, the husband popping bottles of ibuprofen. If we're talking about medication once again, and Claritin D, we want to remove those. We don't need to talk about prior use of any type of medication, and then a lack of use of it subsequently. It mentions later again the pain in the shoulder, no allergy issues. Once again, you see that pain and then a body part, and then mentioning the word heart attack. That's obviously kind of the same category in my mind as cancer, as you posited before. We want to limit the talks of these big things. I think sometimes for the exact reason that you stated it, they shut down. But also, unfortunately, there are many companies out there that use very aggressive sales tactics when they say, the big things like cancer, heart attacks, diabetes, arthritis. They use these powerful words to get people's attention, and they've used it so much that it's almost a turnoff because they make ridiculous claims after that, and we're not drugs, so it's better, just like Karen mentioned, to eliminate talking about those things, and then at the very end that he was removed from blood pressure. So the way I would have rewritten it, not having a full rewrite, but is I would have just talked about how his family, there was a definitive difference in my family's health and wellness before and after consuming, and this is what I would have focused on, the 90-plus verifiable nutrients found in Zija's liquid nutritional products, and that with proper nutrition, I and my family have have a more positive outlook on life and notice better health and wellness. So instead of trying to rewrite each one of those sentences, I would have used overarching broad categories of health, wellness, because that applies to everyone. David Moses said it really well in the convention in October. He stated that we don't need to talk about specific health issues that alienates people that don't have those health issues. But if you talk about high levels of wellness, vitality, maintaining optimum health, this covers everyone. It speaks to everyone. We're compliant. We're not talking about specific health issues. So using those key words of health, wellness, vitality, that will help change people's lives, and that really is going to speak to people.
Absolutely, and I'm going to give a little bit of a rewrite to it because I happen to know this individual, and I think that there's a part that is missing in the story that is very significant. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of a rewrite. Hi, my name is Sherry. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I got introduced to Zija through a chance meeting with a stranger in the airport. And I think that's significant. It is the strongest line that can be in this particular story because many people have got introduced by someone that is just a stranger that's just chatting with them. In this particular instance, I know that is what happened, so I've added it in even though it wasn't in the story. So let's start here from the beginning. Hi, my name's Sherry, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I got introduced to Zija through a chance meeting with a stranger in the airport. Intrigued with what I heard, I decided to start on the weight management products. I lost considerable weight, but to my surprise, the best part has been the improvement in my overall health. I'm finding that by providing the Zija nutrition, my body is now in balance again, and many of my issues of past have disappeared. And so that, to me, says volumes. And again, the story is about her in particular, and I've pulled away all of the other specific addressing individuals. I like the way, Jason, that you talked about. She could talk about how it's put her family in optimal health or in a positive manner, but I wouldn't list them all out specifically. So your story is, again, about you, but probably the most important part of this story, the part that will have the greatest impact on many, is that a stranger approached her about these products, and she was intrigued enough and was willing to try. And I think that will direct many that are sitting there that have met somebody in the supermarket, or someone called them literally by chance, and they're wondering whether they should do this or not. So I've added that piece to that story. Let's move on. We've got story number 3. We've got, well, you know what? I'm just looking at the time. I'm thinking maybe, Jason, we've probably done about all we can this morning. We've actually kept them a little bit long, so I think we'll kind of save that particular one. Is there any parting words, Jason, that you'd like to leave them with?
Yes, we're trying to increase the amount of training and our availability to each individual distributor. That's why we've created the Compliance Zija Facebook page, mainly just to be able to answer distributor questions, make posts here and there that are educational for your benefit. So if you haven't added our Compliance Zija Facebook page. I invite you to do so. We get questions every single day that people will just send us a quick message on there. We try to apply promptly. People have sent us their testimonials. Obviously, we don't want to rewrite every 120 plus thousand distributors' testimonials. That would be a daunting task. But I invite you to send us a message on there if you have a quick question. We're here at your disposal. My department loves being able to help distributors because that ends up so it's not, like you said, posted on Facebook and shared 170 times, and then once it's out there on the internet, it's kind of gone. Just as a quick refresher, these are key points. If you're writing things down to remember, walking away with things today, avoid the naming of specific ailments, diseases, or body parts in any type of testimonial. Remember that if it's not a normal health condition, probably best to leave it out because it would likely be considered a disease claim. We do see some people that try to use the word moringa instead of Zija as a workaround, saying that moringa helps with this disease or moringa helps with this ailment. That's implied because our products have moringa in it, that it would still be a curative claim. So just by supplementing moringa into your testimonial doesn't make it okay. It's still an implied claim. Focus on the nutrients and personalize it. So by focusing on the nutrients of Zija products, there's so many amazing things. Learn it. Go to our moringa tab. Look at all the amazing 90-plus verifiable vitamins, minerals, amino acids, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories. By focusing on the nutrients, you will have a much better and believable success story that is completely compliant. And then invite individuals to do their own research online. It's so easy right now with the internet to say, type in moringa oleifera. Let me know what you come up with. You don't even need to send them to a specific site because there's so many amazing articles out there. They're going to find those in a heartbeat. And with that quick research, you haven't convinced them of anything. They're convincing themselves because they're seeing the scientific evidence of our products. Or you can send them to your replicated site and drink life in. So if you have any questions, we're available to answer them. You can email us at compliance@zijacorp.com. Look us up on the Facebook page or just give us a call at the customer service number.
Well, Jason, I want to thank you for joining us. I know it's early out there this morning, so I want to thank you for getting up early and joining us. Definitely add Zija Compliance on Facebook for those of you that are on social media, and certainly compliance@zijacorp.com. When you've finished writing your story, when you believe you've literally eliminated everything from it, that's the last place where you can get confirmation that you are indeed sharing a story publicly that will not cause any harm to Zija Nation. So the biggest takeaway that I think I got from this is don't hit the share button on social media without reading the full story. If there is any doubt in reading that story, don't hit share, because that's ultimately, those stories move around. The interesting thing about Facebook is there is no compliance department to Facebook. The information that's on there could be true, could be accurate, could be incorrect, and certainly could not be compliant. And so don't hit that share button unless you're 100% sure that story, even though it's not your story, you are furthering and passing it on to many. If it is not compliant, don't share it. So thanks, Jason, once again. I'm going to skip the next Thursday, given that it's going to fall in the middle of the holidays. Wish each and every one of you a wonderful holiday season. And I'm going to open up the lines, and if you've got some specific questions, maybe, Jason, can you hang around for a couple more minutes?
You bet.
Okay, all right, I'm going to open up the lines. It may get crazy. You may be able to address something. You may not. Hold on here. All right, guys. Lines are open.
Cool, very much.
Ohio. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. This is Maggie Hopkins in Salt Lake City. I'm here in Cleveland, and let me know in Utah or www.com to register. Thanks a lot. Bye. Very good. Sharon is seeing you. That's our Thanks for tuning station, but in Ohio. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Jason. Debbie Callahan, Las Vegas. That was awesome. All very informational. I appreciate it. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Jason. See you right. Thank you.
Jasmine Tree and Atlanta Jasmine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen.
I want to hear what the other ones in Francisco Bay area. Great call.
We're calling Mary Jones, Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Jason. Great call.
Richard Daniel, Michael California. Thank you very much for the useful information. North Carolina.
Nancy, Karen, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Jason. Pumpkin egg. Jason, are you on the line? I have a quick question.
Yes, I'm still on the line.
Okay, how would you best answer a back injury on the golf course of 5 years? Fell down on a tree trunk at Torrey Pines, injured my back, and when I went on the Zeta products, the back injury was healed after 2 weeks. How would you best say that?
What you want to do is not focus on the back injury and the pain that's gone away, but what you can focus is on the nutrients, such as the anti-inflammatories. That you were intrigued by the product because moringa has been shown to have 36 naturally occurring anti-inflammatories, and that you've seen success or you've benefited from the anti-inflammatory properties. By just focusing on the nutrient content of moringa and focusing on the anti-inflammatories, the naturally occurring anti-inflammatories, and the benefits of those, you leave out the part that says, and my pain has gone away, or all symptoms are gone, or I've been cured or healed. Those are the things that focusing on the anti-inflammatories is good, but once you cross into saying my pain has gone away or I've been cured, that's when it kind of crosses over into that the red zone.
Okay, Jason, I'd also like to comment on that. Being an avid golfer appeals to a wide audience, right? So that could be part of, you could do your name, where you're from, and then it could be being an avid golfer. I was excited when I saw the anti-inflammatory properties of the Zeta products. Got started on the nutritionals and then more energy for my golf game, that kind of thing.
Yes,
Great, thank you very much. And also, personally in to make sure that everything's compliant.
You bet.
Karen, Jason, this is Debbie Callahan in Las Vegas. Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
My question is actually in my story. The biggest benefit that I actually had was I had suffered from carpal tunnel. And so for like 15 years I wore braces at night to keep my hands, from going numb from the way they crank up. I was going to emphasize the benefits of the anti-inflammatory properties from Zeta, because that definitely is what solved my problem, because I don't have to wear them anymore. But I want to make sure that I understand I am not supposed to be in compliance. I should not mention that I had issues with inflammation in my body. And that I should not mention the fact that I had to wear braces of any type to sleep, and that was eliminated. Is that correct?
That's correct. That goes to two of my key points, which was not mentioning a specific name of a health issue or an ailment,
right.
So carpal tunnel. Once it has a name, but basically it's a disease.
Exactly.
So you're absolutely correct on that. And then by stating that you no longer have to wear the braces on your wrist, that's implying that Zeta products were the cure.
Right.
And so what you want to do is you've nailed it right on the head. Awesome job is eliminating those two and then just focusing on generalities. And if you have people that you know that may have carpal tunnel or other things that would enjoy anti-inflammatories, you concentrate on the anti-inflammatory properties of moringa and say, I know I've enjoyed excellent results from the naturally occurring anti-inflammatory properties of feta. And then you leave it. And let them try the product, give them a free trial pack, and let them see if they've noticed the result. So you can hone in on what you know that they need, and then what helped you without making any claim.
Okay. The other thing, Debbie, that you can add into that from a benefit is better sleep, right? Because that's ultimately what you've said.
Right. Right.
Okay, well, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right, any other questions before we let the lines go this morning? I've got one quick question, Karen. This is Holly in Ohio. And would you mention the specific, your poundage and weight loss, or would you just say, like, I've had great success with the weight loss program? I like to say that you've had great results with the weight loss program, or, I fit back in my wedding dress or my prom dress, or, I'm smaller now than I was in high school. I mean, those are great comments because they're not ever changing. I mean, I think with the weight management system, your goals are constant, your success is constantly changing, right? And so I kind of like some of those more general concepts, like the idea of fitting back in your prom dress or your wedding dress for a lot of females is a very positive. It doesn't matter if you've lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, or 25 pounds. So I like some of those statements. Jason?
I agree absolutely with Karen. Speaking in generalities, we don't want to throw out specific numbers all of the time, because if you say, I've lost 35 pounds with Vija's weight management program, another individual might say, oh, well, I'm going to have that exact same result. I would focus on what Karen said, and then I would also include other things that you've been doing. Some people forget to mention that they changed their diet, that they were eating less, they were eating more healthy, that they were actually exercising a little bit more, or because of the Vija products, they had the energy that helped them go on a couple of walks around the block, or go to the gym a little bit more, or actually have a desire to go to the gym because they had that extra energy. So by focusing on the overarching goal of Vija's weight management program of helping to decrease or provide energy, but combine it with proper nutrition and exercise. Make sure you give people a holistic picture of how you accomplished that weight loss down to your wedding dress size.
Okay, I absolutely agree, Jason. One of the things that I often say is that I found myself no longer stopping for my afternoon cookie break.
There you go.
So that's one of the lines that people hear me say often. So, all right. Well, thanks, Jason. Thanks all of you for your questions, and look forward to chatting again with you in a couple of weeks. Bye, guys. Thanks, Jason. Bye. Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
Thank you so much. Happy holiday.